Hey everyone, today I've got your Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker movie review. This may be the last decent Star Wars movie in years to come. Or is Disney and company pulling a Jedi mind trick? So as far as the story goes, J.J. Abrams returns to direct Episode 9 in the hopes of fixing the bad taste in fans' mouths that was The Last Jedi. Now, of course, J.J. Abrams did direct The Force Awakens Episode 7, so it does seem like it's fitting that he does complete the story for this trilogy. Now, this plot feels like a disorganized mess from the beginning, in which its only job was to create all this nostalgia and give fan service galore, and I literally noticed that from the beginning. And obviously watching the first trailer that came out for this movie, of course they were trying to fix everything. They were really trying to give fans a reason to see this movie and just try to forgive them for what happened in The Last Jedi. Now, I didn't exactly hate The Last Jedi, but I didn't exactly love it, and that's really disappointing because I am a huge Star Wars fan and I have appreciated what the Star Wars movies had to offer for the most part. And in this movie, it was just so fast-paced that I feel like, okay, the first 20 minutes are literally just all these different things, and I feel like they clutter so much in. It's so little time, and it's an over 2.5-hour long movie, and I'm spending most of the time watching it trying to piece all of these things together, and I did technically get spoiled before I ended up seeing the movie, so it's kind of crazy to think that they really just, they tried so hard to keep things a secret, and for good reason, which I will get into in my spoiler review when I do that. So, as far as the casting goes, you've got Daisy Ridley, who returns as Rey, and I think she is very badass at times. And normally, I didn't like the way that she portrayed her character, or how at least they wrote her character to be made a certain way and to succeed at everything that she does in such a short amount of time, because she really tried to develop this character to, be this Jedi and train. And now, like, she's just so skilled at everything. But I think at times she does have some really cool scenes and stunt work going on in this movie. Adam Driver as Kylo Ren or Ben Solo. I mean, I, really liked the way his character was in this movie. Maybe not the whole time, but I feel like I've gained an appreciation for his character, as well as John Boyega and Oscar Isaac, who have supporting roles as Finn and Poe, and I really love their interactions with everyone and just trying to help out and save the galaxy. But then you've got C-3PO, who I was really worried about from the first trailer, and I have always liked him as a character in the Star Wars universe, and even seeing R2-D2 and of course BB-8 was also really nice to see return. But then they added this new droid, which literally added nothing to the movie. Thanks a lot, Disney, for, creating more merchandise. You've also got Chewbacca, who's also nice to see, as well as Billy D. Williams finally get the spotlight, returning as Lando Calrissian, and his scenes were also really just nice to see, because we hadn't seen him at all in any of the other two Star Wars movies of this new trilogy. But then seeing Carrie Fisher, it was good to see her back, even though she tragically passed away, and the story was said to be written around her character. So I was thinking, I wonder how the heck did they do that, because I know that this movie had reshoots, but then making a story surrounding her, I wonder how much it would have been if she didn't pass away. There are also some new female characters added to the cast. Jana and Zori Bliss, I feel like, didn't have a lot of character development here, and it's literally the same feeling that I got when I saw Rose Tico from Episode 8, so I wasn't exactly smitten with these characters, as well as many other people, I'm sure. So the things that I liked about this movie was that the action scenes did deserve to be seen on the big screen. I mean, wow, the cinematography alone, just, one of the reasons why I loved The Force Awakens. And I felt like they went from good to moderately good. And hearing the John Williams score I thought was also nice, considering this is his last outing in composing a Star Wars movie, but who can blame him? And did I cry because thank the maker, it's over, or because it really did feel like an emotional end? So that's one of the reasons why you probably want to see this movie. And there were things revealed that obviously I won't give away, but they did make my jaw drop, and I had an I knew it moment. But it was predictable from the beginning without those online spoilers ruining it for me. So thanks a lot, trailers. So the things that I didn't really like about this movie was that some of the jokes fell flat. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say I was laughing my head off watching this movie. Some jokes worked, and other times I just found them to be really cringeworthy, because these are the moments where, I recognize that this movie is far from perfect, and I wasn't, having these high expectations for it to be this perfect end. But of course, that, as a fan, I do get left disappointed with thinking, okay, so this is the best you can do after basically rehashing the original trilogy movies, and certain things were ignored. But of course, J.J. Abrams had to work with the mess that was The Last Jedi, and seeing how there weren't a lot of tied up loose ends that would have made this a better story to work with. And I think what also made it worse, and maybe a little bit of an inconsistency with the previous two Star Wars movies, is that the Knights of Ren, which felt completely ignored in this movie, even though they were here. I mean, they were completely ignored in The Last Jedi, and they basically had to shoehorn them in when we were already seeing them in the trailer for The Force Awakens. So to think that, wow, so this is what, they came up with as far as these guys go. I mean, I was, less than impressed with what they were doing in this movie. So I feel like one of the flaws in this movie was that there was just, so much interference with the way that this whole franchise was being made to look like, and yet this is, the end result and the best they clearly could come up with. But I'm hoping for, maybe something better to happen in the future, but that's going to be years down the line. So we'll just wait and see. Overall, I would say that sometimes this movie made me smile. It made me mad, certainly, and even made me sad, of course, because this was the state of how they, wanted to leave the legacy of the Skywalker name. And considering that all of the other previous trilogies were surrounding the Skywalkers, this is, their lasting legacy, and this is what they decided people would want to see. But I don't feel like it ended up being a completed movie, which I was hoping it would be, and maybe partially it was because they rushed this movie out and trying to make up for past errors. So I would still recommend seeing this movie. I mean, I feel like you'll still find something about this movie that you'll like, even though there will certainly be people that will end up disliking this movie regardless of what the Rotten Tomatoes score is, which happens to be rotten. So it is kind of sad that that's the case here, but what can you do? So I would give this 2.5 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates. Come back every week for a Chill Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. And I will see you guys later.